Finance MEC Jacob Mamabolo has presented the Gauteng 2022 medium-term budget policy statement and the adjustment budget by Gauteng provincial legislature. Now, the MTBPS promotes transparency and accountability in the management of public funds because it gives insight into the priorities of government, forecasts economic trajectory, and projects the fiscal framework. Now, this year's budget comes at a time when the Gauteng provincial government is intensifying its program to change the living conditions of people in the townships, informal settlements and hostels. For more on this, we are joined in studio by Gauteng Finance MEC Jacob Mamabolo. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for coming in person and speaking to us. Gauteng's budget was adjusted in this sector by 2.4 billion rand, bringing it up to 155 billion rand for the current financial year. We know that Premier Panyaza Lesufi has spoken about 5 elevated priorities. Talk to us about how the scope of this money will be spent.
Well, firstly, good evening to you, to all the viewers, and I'd like to sincerely thank you for inviting us. We appreciate that very much. Just to build up on what you have said, yes, we have, presented what we believe it's a medium-term budget policy statement that builds on the work that has been done and the new priorities that have been announced by Honorable Premier Panyaza Lesufi. You'll have seen in the budget that the priorities that the Premier announced already are receiving attention. For example, I think one of the most outstanding and very important matter that we have demonstrated our commitment to these priorities is the issue of funding to community safety. You'll recall Premier, even when he was constituting the cabinet and posed that, he has been talking quite extensively about, the need to confront crime in the province. And we didn't take this to some undefined future. We started right here, right now, and allocate the money. And of course, we detailing the breakdown across departments to support some of the infrastructure initiatives, the partnerships we have with the private sector, so that whilst the global economic environment is proving difficult in the province, we can be able to, carry the people of Gauteng, but also we are the economic hub of the country, so it means we have to put our cents, every rand and cent, to where it boosts economic growth.
Yeah. E-government, Gauteng's e-government department is exploring smart technology. As you speak about the initiatives that are being put out at the forefront here about fighting crime. I mean, we saw Police Minister Begicele unveiling the crime stats. They really paint a grim picture, a grim state of affairs when it comes to issues within the country, but Gauteng in itself also coming out as a crime-ridden province.
Yeah, you'll also have seen in the budget that with respect to crime, one of the issues we have elevated in the budget, the very first item, number 1 in the budget, is our commitment to financing activities that seeks to take forward women empowerment, fighting gender-based violence and femicide, in addition to our overall Iraqi strategy against crime. We are putting money there to finance human resource capacity we need, because we know that in the different locations, in the different wards and areas, if there's no immediate response when people experience incidences of crime, that makes things even bad. So what we're trying to say in the province is we need more personnel, we need more people to be on the ground to respond to communities too. You will have seen that we're funding smart technologies. Drones have proven to be very good technology, and of course in our country we still have legislation that almost make the use of drones regulated like aeroplanes. Yeah. But those matters are work in progress. You can see what we have already announced. And these drones that we're buying, about 50 of them are just a start. So we're going to get more. We have already spoken about, issues relating to the panic buttons that eGov is working on. So, and those community safety will also say to the people of the province, where are the pockets where we're going to start this and even make observations, improve and consolidate them. So to that extent, I think I'd like to really agree with you that whilst the issue of crime, it's a big problem, but I think as a province, we have moved beyond that. We're starting to put our money where our announcements are. So we are aligning the two, and I'm very much pleased that the feedback we have received from the people about putting crime high on the agenda, I think that's quite remarkable.
Absolutely. And also looking about how you expressed a lot of optimism when it comes to Gauteng's abilities. You say that they have the potential to maintain a competitive economy and create jobs. I suppose, when we speak about crime, we have to speak about the issue of unemployment and job creation, something that really affects especially the young people of this country. And you also make mention of gender-based violence. Women also looking to benefit from these jobs. Where exactly are you looking in terms of job creation?
So let me start with the one of empowering women. So what we're saying, you'll see in our budget, we're talking about a marginal increase year on year in our budgets. And we're indicating that every year we set up new targets. And then we say to departments, demonstrate to us how your budget is going to empower women and what are those targets, and we need them to be funded. So because we know that women are the majority of the people, they're the most hard hit by poverty, inequalities, unemployment, but also patriarchy, male domination. And so when you release resources into families and households, you are actually empowering women. So that's a big issue. And we've also introduced what we call the tracking the geography of money, which will also tell us when we spend money on empowering women, in which areas. So there's a technology and capability that the Department of COCTA has introduced to track and trace where poverty is and then where are we spending the money. Just on the economy, and you're right, we have comprehensively articulated the upside opportunities that we have in the Gauteng economy. And of course, but we didn't go much about the downside risks to the economy. ESCOM is one of them. I think those are well pronounced. But one of the things that we're saying is we have 35% contribution to the GDP. And we're saying this is something that has been there for quite some time. We need to look at how can we increase our contribution to GDP so that it doesn't just stay at 34, 35, sometimes 34%. We have detailed where will the jobs come from. We have said in the province we have introduced special economic zones. We have said where they are in terms of geographic location in each area. In the period that I've been appointed MEC, I visited one in the OR Tambo next to the airport as part of what they call aerotropolis, meaning growing the economy around the opportunities at the airport. I have seen there what the provincial government of Gauteng is doing. Very impressive. Excellent success. For example, in the land that government bought, developed, and provided bulk services, we have been able to attract a gold refinery. That gold refinery is working. I saw it. It's just that they refused us to enter, but it's working. It's a high security area. I've seen a massive warehousing for food processing on the land of government. Jewelry manufacturers and diamond processors in the area, and there's more building they are doing, and there are phases, a pharmaceutical precinct they are setting up. So the point I'm trying to make is that across the province, this model of private-public partnership on creating productive assets and economic activity that create jobs is a model that is going to help the province and is creating jobs. And this is a model we want to roll out to townships, because productive assets shouldn't just be created in traditional industrial suburbs and all that. There are massive opportunities in the township. There's a big population in the township. There's a high rate of unemployment there. So we're saying that our province has a huge capacity that is underestimated, and that's where we're looking to. 47
billion rand e-toll debt. Something that you also made mention of as you spoke about the hybrid funding model. Will that be sufficient, and how exactly will that work?
So I think first things first, we are very much pleased that the e-toll problem finally has been solved. You know, this has been one of the most difficult matters we had to deal with. Mm-hmm. We had to wait. Since 2020, we submitted to national government comprehensive document outlining our views. And then we waited. An announcement will be made, But first, so we are very much pleased with that. Victory for the people of Gauteng. 2, we have detailed in the speech the discussions that we're having with the Honorable Minister Gauteng. And we must also thank him for hearing the voice of the people of Gauteng. So we are saying, in a nutshell, in simple and brief, we are putting together a memorandum of understanding with the minister, which will be signed between Gauteng and national government, in which we will then clarify what are the actual sources of revenue that will flow into the hybrid model. Because remember, when we talk about hybrid model, unlike the e-tolls, which was one thing, just e-tolls. Yeah. So here we're looking at multiple sources of revenue so that if something goes wrong like e-tolls, we don't collapse the revenue generating capacity. So let's wait for that MOU. It will then say, because we'll announce, as I've already said yesterday, Honorable Premier Panyaza Lesupi is going to have a State of the Province address next year. That's not far. And of course, we will have now a full budget a speech in March. So we will be able to say, in the hybrid, this model, for example, advertising on our buildings and roads, if I were to give an example, will generate so much. In the hybrid model, those sources of revenue administered by national government, they will give us so much. So the multiple sources will be much more concrete when the negotiations are concluded in the MOU. And I shouldn't be tempted to start those negotiations here because I'll be undermining the process. But I just thought, for the benefit of the viewers, we say, whatever little bigger source we're looking at, it must come into this bucket, because national government is not saying, pay 30%, we'll see to finish now. Yeah. National government is saying, let's work together. It's not like they've dumped a 30% debt on the province. No. So they're saying, let's work together. Let's see how we can deal with this issue, because we are a unitary state. We get our money from national government. So in that context, I'd like to say to the people of the province, in as much as we waited for too long for the announcement that we're told is coming, it's not coming, it's no longer coming, let's wait for this MOU to be concluded. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, as we listened this week to Auditor General Zakane Maluleke, she spoke in great detail about, the issue of accountability, a culture of accountability lacking within accounting offices, and also ensuring that, 155 billion rand, that's quite a big budget, especially with the injection of 2.4 billion. Accountability will have to count and be at the forefront as you announce these initiatives and you speak about how the money will then be spent.
Yes, I would like to emphasize that point, because right in the speech you will have seen that very early we're saying we outlined certain principles. One of them is respect, and maximum respect, for the Public Finance Management Act. And for municipalities, the Municipal Finance Management Act, these pieces of legislation must be respected. What we are seeing in the province, which is a matter that we're going to really have to confront head on without fear, favor, or prejudice, is we can't have in the provincial government accounting officers, managers who are in contempt of Public Finance Management Act in what is called financial misconduct. It is an important chapter in the Act, and they are still lingering around, sitting in their positions and continuing to perpetuate unauthorized expenditure, fruitless and wasteful expenditure, and of course, all the sorts of, including failure to spend money unauthorized. So we have announced yesterday in the budget speech that we're going to work with the Office of the Premier. One, we're going to check how many people in this province are under investigation. How long have these investigations been going on? The people that we have asked to assist us with these processes, are we getting value for money? So that we can account to the people in next year when the Premier make announcement, the budget speech. In this 3 months period, what is the data and information? How long will it take to deal with it? Because what causes repetition or non-ending violation of PMA is lack of consequence management.
Yeah.
If you don't take action on people, they will not see, it means there's no deterrent. So one thing we're going to be looking at is, and we will announce to the public, what is the statistical data we are sitting with of people, and of course with due respect to the law, we don't want to cast them in aspersions, but if there are issues about you as an official, we need to know, count you in a particular, whatever number we can put. But I've met with the provincial audit committee members. These are the chairpersons who are doing oversight on audit to support us, over and above that done by the Auditor General. They have, all of them, said it so loud and clear that the biggest weakness, the biggest weakness in the chain in the province is lack of consequence management.
Yeah.
So I would like to say to the viewers, we are very clear, no cent in this province must go to waste. We have outlined a principle. We must get value for money. And the Provincial Audit Committee has also said they want to know who are the officials that are sitting in the supply chain management, what are their capabilities, what are their skills and competencies, because that's where we buy. That's where we use money of government to buy. So we are going to be zooming into this space, and we have already said in the speech, we're going to do road shows because we don't want to do just what in Afrikaans they call slaan and donor. I think that's, you chase and the suspect after the incident has happened. So what we need is also proactively. Yeah. How do we close the leakages? So we are saying, we're going to do road shows with the accounting officers and say to them, you are bound by the Public Finance Management Act. This is what it says. So that you don't just crack the whip, but you are also not closing the loopholes.
Yeah,
so we need to do both.
Thank you so much. We'll hold you to it. Thank you so much for coming in studio and breaking it down, really giving us more detail following that announcement. Gauteng Finance MEC Jacob Mamabolo.